Everyone's saying it, but I'm gonna say it too. Blue Lock is an absolute banger of an anime. Opening, ending, fantastic, but it's the insanity. The sheer, just lunatic level character writing that just sells this sport. And yeah, the actual sport itself, when they go to animate them doing anything with the soccer ball, I mean, they completely nail that. It is fluid. At times, you would swear it's a real person doing that maneuver, and I'm like, holy shit, did they rotoscope that? Did they, trace over, like, with animation of, like, a real players, or are they just that damn talented? But it's the monster, like, that's the theme of this episode. And Isagi, he did a pretty insane thing last week in terms of securing his place and taking out someone who I wasn't expecting to make it to the end, but I thought would be around for a bit and maybe even would snap himself. Yes, he did end up snapping, but because he essentially had his career ruined because of something he didn't see coming. And to get someone like Batra, who just kind of gave me a lunatic level feel in episode 1, but I mean, everyone kind of seemed a little crazy, so that's kind of just like stating the obvious. But to get the kind of monster within, and the whole reason why he passed the ball in the first place, was there logic behind it? Was there ulterior motives? And it just seems like, this is someone who has the exact potential that they're looking for. Jinpachi, Jin over here, he's the man trying to find that one striker who can take Japan to the next level, that is so, develops that ego in a way that they'll take the shot. They won't just pass because they have to, but more so, it's that selfishness, that desire, and it's the one thing that you can't necessarily craft into people, but more so you have to just naturally be born with that ego and really unleash the beast, as this episode was kind of going for. And to get the whole idea that, you get this like flashback at one point with Batra, and he basically, he hogged the ball, and then the ball ended up going to the other team. And the fact that, he's getting criticized by his team, but then he sees like that voice, that beast inside him, and that's what he chases after. And I love the way they're going about explaining the mindset behind Blue Lock, like this event, which the media is not having. I wasn't expecting that to be already brought up, but I'm glad they did, because unlike, because this really does feel like a battle royale, so I'm going to reference it as such, even if characters aren't going to get killed. Essentially, their potential to move up in the world of their sport is essentially nothing if they get eliminated. But I love the fact that for this type of battle royale, it's immediately public knowledge, and there's a lot of pushback because, understandably, you're essentially ruining a bunch of kids' chances to take it to the next level because you want to be able to actually win, not just make it to this, grand championship. And it's insane to see the main person behind this. In any other show, you would take a look at her and say, oh, she's probably the one being pushed around, probably the voice of reason. And, the old fat bastard over there is the reason why this is happening. No, the old fat bastard's fine with just making money. This woman's the one with the true screws loose in her head, and I thank her for it because this is a wild experiment. The whole concept of just like, I love at the end of the episode or shortly before the episode wraps up, you have Jin over here talking about how, like, they're essentially making a team out of all strikers, and how would that work? Everyone has their positions, and I love how he brings up, like, the rules of the game and the positions that people play in are constantly changing and evolving. Once you have that one player who shakes the game to its core, people adapt new positions or new tactics, defense maneuvers, all that type of stuff gets brought in because you now have to counter that because everyone, once seeing someone that skilled, will then try to mirror it. And I love the fact that, he just explains it as, we're going back to the basics when there wasn't all these roles, there wasn't all this, it was just everyone was a striker. And it's so interesting because you are going to be balancing that classic almost battle royale formula where sometimes your teammates are going to be the difference between you being eliminated and you not being eliminated, but at other times you have to be the first one to push them over a cliff if it means propelling yourself upwards. And they're not in good situations. Like, there's so many different characters. I think they started with 300, right? And, they've already eliminated quite a few. And even if we're only going to be focusing on 11 right now within their own little group and their bubble, eventually stabs are going to be happening. There's going to be a lot of backstabbing. And it's going to be interesting to see who will do it first because, as the start of this episode points out, Isagi as well as Batra were like the two people that perfectly represent what this man and this group is looking for in the Blue Lock game. And it's going to be very interesting to see how different characters will break because they're all very quirky, I mean, the animation and art direction does a hell of a good job with the eyes. I had a couple of people mention it, and I completely agree with this. If anyone's ever seen Fire Force, the way the eyes and the animation, the almost like shadows erupting from their faces, is detailed, it's very similar to how David Production animates Fire Force in a lot of those more sick and twisted scenes where characters kind of snap. And it exactly is what Blue Lock feels like, but with a sports twist to it. And to see how everyone kind of feels goofy, everyone feels a little silly, but everyone feels like they have the potential to truly snap and do the crazy jaw on the floor moment that happened in episode 1. The thing I like is that they're already being pretty thorough with explaining the rules. I like the concept of they all get a base meal, but depending on your rank, you'll get an extra side that can range from probably you want to throw it away rather than eat to obviously having probably the best thing ever. And I thought at first, I was like, oh, that seems normal. Like, it's not crazy different, but you can see the difference between getting pickled this versus, oh, that actually looks rather delicious. And then you see at one point in the episode, you know, there's like pizzas and gourmet foods all around, and I'm like, oh, this can get way, way better or way, way worse. And I love the fact that because there's already that goal. If you're eliminated, your chances of taking it to the next level are going to be eliminated, but most importantly, if you win, you're gonna be the all-star that everyone's looking at and probably will change the rules where people will have to adapt to your playstyle. But most importantly, it's good to continue to reward/punish people in the moment building up, even if they haven't been eliminated, because it gives them the desire of like, the better I do, the better I'll feel because I'll probably get a better bed. I'm not just gonna be sleeping on the floor with everyone. I'll probably have a goddamn king-size bed all to myself, my own room. And you can see how it can punish and make people more obviously easy to eliminate, but also if you're already at the bottom, you have more of a desire to shoot up, where the people already at the top could get very, oh, I'm at the top, no one's gonna beat me, and next thing you know, they're the ones sleeping on the ground and very quickly could get eliminated. There's a lot to the mechanics here, but most importantly, the characters are interesting right from the get-go, and the idea of this show is just so anime, it's perfect, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take it from here. The voice actor's doing a hell of a good job, the animation, like I said, very smooth. At many points when they're doing anything with the ball, it just feels like, holy shit, like, how did you make it look that realistic? And just the general look of it, it has a very unique art style that just sucks you right in. Either way, I leave another episode of Blue Lock. We're only 2 episodes in, but it's already one of the most impressive shows of the season, if you ask me. I truly think episode 1 is one of the best premiere episodes of an anime I've seen in quite some time, and really it just feels like they're explaining things, they're taking it slow where they need to, but they're most importantly just continuing to let the momentum keep up. Even if we're not seeing characters get blasted in the face and become bloody and bruised, they're still showing some pretty shocking elements to this that really keeps it entertaining, and I'm very, very excited for more. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Since I'm doing 4 videos on a Saturday, YouTube doesn't like to promote the 4th video as much, so I'd really appreciate the extra likes, comments, all that fun stuff to help this video do well in the algorithm. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.